Thank you so much to AWS for invite Aizon to this amazing event, and thank you so much to the audience to join to this conference, to this talk. Well, this talk is gonna explain a little bit how to apply AI in the pharma industry, manufacturing pharma, in order to get robust processes, in order to have efficient, safety, and quality products at the end. This is the agenda for these 15 minutes that we are going to talk about this topic. So as you can see in the items, we're going to walk together in this journey from the challenges that we are facing nowadays till the future, and also the reality that we are living nowadays, and the improvements and benefits that the industry is getting just applying AI. So this is the items that we are going to cover. So let's start first with the challenges. And this is the first challenge. This is something that we are facing every day in every company that works with data. So the reality is that data scientists, they are investing the 80% of their time just cleaning up and preparing data before to use it. Even more. So if we add this figure to the figure that the 75% of the data that is generated in the industry, and more specifically in pharma is between the 80 and the 85, is never used. That means that we have explosive combinations because we are not using all the data that we can have. And we are spending a lot of time and resources in order to prepare just the few data that we have available. So this is a great challenge. So only the 20% of time that is used by our data scientists are used for generating value. And this is something that Aizon is aware, and that is one of the deadlines and the goals that we are pursuing in order to fix this problem. The second one is a reality that is across the industries. Every single industry is complex. So if you look at the operations and the sequence and parallel actions and phases that they are required in order to produce products, you will see that the reality is so complex. We are working with materials, we are working with different suppliers, we are working with a lot of different equipments and operators that they are managing, creating actions, maintenance, setting up these machines. Everything is so complex. But in pharma, we have an additional layer that is adding more complexity on top. The problem with pharma is that we are delivering products for our patients, and we have to be sure that the drugs, the final outcomes that we are producing, the final goods, they are, with the efficiency, the quality, and they are safe enough in order to cover the expectation of our final patients. So we have to consider this continuous variability of the process when we understand what to do and how to act in this process. Well, the only way to tackle this kind of multivariable scenario, the space where we have pH, speeds, temperatures, different variables that they are controlling my process, the only way to tackle this complex problem is using AI, because AI was created precisely for that. AI is able to understand, to aggregate all these multivariable spaces and dimensions in order to produce outcomes like predictions, recommendations, pattern recognitions, anomaly detections, clusterizations. At the end, with AI, we can emulate the human cognition in a very automated way. For this reason, AI is the best tool in order to control automatic processes in a complex context. This is the challenges. And well, in Aizon, we know that. And after 3 iterations, working always with the pharma industry, we have arrived to the moment where the Pharma 4.0 concept is ready to be embraced by the pharma community. Pharma 4.0 means that we were able to adopt technologies like cloud, IoT, big data, all the 4.0 technologies, but with a layer that allows to us to rely on the results. So what we did? Well, the first thing is, if you want to apply AI in order to improve your processes, in order to get more knowledge about your process, you need this level of knowledge of technology, but also you need to know how pharma works, how manufacturing processes work. So you need a partner team that is collaborative and works together with the same synergies. In this case, we have a very specialized group that in the team that they are so much experts in manufacturing processes, another group that they are so expert in quality. And regarding cloud, we created a relationship with Amazon precisely for that, because Amazon is the best partner that we can find, that they understand how GxP works in the cloud environment. Well, once we had this partners team, we created the AI level, but not in a, let me say, freedom way. I mean, we are not using algorithms that they are open source. Of course, if they are open source, we can use it, but we are not using just algorithms that they are published on the around the world. We need to qualify these algorithms if we need to rely on the results that we get. So the artificial intelligence that we are leveraging in the manufacturing industry requires this degree of confidence before to use it for GxP purposes. Well, next level is, let's go to the business cases that we want to solve. What is the problem? What is the use case that we need to improve? How we can improve the final quality attributes in these products. So when we are covering the main use cases where we can add value, we can extract, we can make this emergence of knowledge in order to be applied everywhere. Everything that I have explained must be always considered under the GxP context. This is so crucial. GxP, remember, is good whatever practices we apply for pharma. Good manufacturing practices, good laboratory practices, good warehouse management practices, everything that we have to cover in the right way in order to deliver the right medicine to the patient. I would like to introduce a real use case just to share with all of you real use cases. We have tons of use cases, but I think that this is so clear. In this case, we were working with a multinational pharma that is completely dedicated to create drugs based on human plasma. The business challenge was that the profit margins were going down year over year. And well, that produced a high cost and long timelines in order to improve this yield that was decreasing. The thing is that the process is so complex because there are many factors involved in the process. Which is the root cause of this problem? Which are the cause effect between phases? Which is the persons or the humans that they are interacting with more criticality in the process? Well, when you are trying to vote to afford this kind of problems, you have to synthesize as much as you can, and you have to understand the variability. Well, what we did, we made a multivariate analysis in order to determine which were the most critical factors that were influencing to this decrease, the consistency decrease of the yield. This is well, it's a common practices that you can do with AI. So you can reduce the problem of thousands of variables just to 100 or some dozens of variables. Well, once we determined these factors, we created dashboards in order to provide this level of transparency about how the process is going on, how the dependence and the cause-effect relationship between variables, they are constantly maintained during the process. In this way, we can monitorize and we can assess if the process is going in the direction that should go. And finally, in order to accelerate the knowledge, thanks to the consultancy service that we are also delivering with in the company, we checked and we created AI models in order to predict and to recommend which kind of conditions and critical process parameters and values of these critical process parameters must be adjusted and set it up in order to at the end get the expected yield. So it's the strategy is very simple, but the process requires a lot of simple steps where you are applying knowledge on in each operation. Well, what was the result? After this process, we discovered that the raw material composition, could you imagine, we are using raw material coming from plasma, from human plasma. Well, the variability of this raw material is so diverse. So, well, we tried to explain which was the relationship between these variabilities and the different critical process parameters during the process. And we explained more than the 50% of the overall process variance just with these two concepts: raw material attributes, critical process parameters. Well, we recommended this adjustment of CPPs, these critical process parameters, in order to be sure that the yield was kept as we expected. So at the end, the result was amazing. We improved the yield in a double digit, having a hugely positive impact on the profit margin. This is one of the use cases that we can explain, but there are many where AI is proving that brings value to the pharma, just considering this variability and complexity of the processes. Which is the platform where we solved the problem? The Aizon platform, as you can see in this diagram, is based on these three main walls. So the first thing that we have to do is to break silos, data silos. It's so important that you are able to connect every single data silo in some common data lake in order to get benefits from the relationship between variables, systems, records, reports, results. So at the end, when you are able to aggregate this information in just one single data lake, the knowledge is emerging by itself. So precisely, we use AWS as the main core for to keep this data lake consistent and always GxP compliance. Why GxP compliance? Well, because if we use, for example, S3, you can check and you have already directly, you have encrypted your data. You can create multi-regions with your data, and you are ensuring in this way that the European laws for to storage critical data is still in Europe. So these kind of things are helping a lot in order to be compliant with GxP. More things, for example, how to make a disaster recovery plan. Well, if you use the Amazon data lakes, like for example S3, DynamoDB, in this case, you can create copies of the data in a warm way. It's not necessary to stop and to make this copy. So all these features that Amazon is providing by default with these components are very useful if you want to use cloud for GxP purposes. So with this data lake that is delivering this kind of nice features that they are required for pharma, we created a platform where we have AI systems, just drag and drop systems where you can create your own application, not only dashboards. You can create your own app, web app, that is interacting with the operators, with the machinery, with the system, with the environment, in order to create pharmaceutical applications. For example, a bioreactor application that is able to predict the best CPPs in each moment. Or you can create applications, for example, for to control the laboratory information systems in the optimal way. So there are many applications that you can build on top, just making drag and drop features, usabilities. On top of that, and I think that this is the crucial point, we created the qualification as a service platform. It's an independent platform that is evaluating the risk continuously of the usage of this platform based on the changes and upgrades that they are coming from AWS. So AWS is the best partner technologically speaking, because, for example, they are delivering these traffic lakes where we are checking by APIs how is the status of each component. Based on that and based on the usage of the platform, we can create this risk assessment continuously, and we can promote mitigations using AI algorithms that we are inside the platform. So at the end, we have data silo ingestion coming from every single data source that we have in the plant, in the floor. We ingest the data in a data lake, compliant data lake. and we can create AI applications for every single problem that we have in the pharma industry. On top of that, we have a continuous qualification that is providing this confident layer on top of the process. This is more or less the architecture of the platform. It's a little bit reduced, but I think that it's important to mention that all the platform is serverless. So we are using, as you can see, for example, we are using IoT component in order to get all data coming from different data silos. We are using MQTT, preferably MQTT protocol rather than HTTP. Once the data is inside the system, is always a VPN. We produce different serverless lambdas that they are controlling, and they are adding all the regulatory layer on top of the data. So once the lambdas are distributing the information accordingly, the structure that is analyzed automatically, there are systems that they are on demand because they are lambdas. The systems that they are producing this kind of recommendations, predictions, clusterization based mainly in the SageMaker component on Amazon. We put all the AI algorithms there, and if we need more, because SageMaker maybe is not accepting a specific algorithm that we have developed, we use in this case lambdas for that. Well, the idea is that using this ecosystem, we were able to escalate and distribute the data, the process, the information just automatically, just producing this continuous loop based on this architecture. More things. This is the future and the reality. In 2011, the FDA published the guidance for process validation. Process validation is the process that you have to follow in pharma if you want to be compliant with the products that you are manufacturing. The process validation is divided in stage 1, where you are designing the process, stage 2, when you are qualifying the process that you have designed previously, and stage 3 is the last stage where you go to production. Well, AI is covering all the stages using the platform, creating applications on top, because all the platform is fully compliant, because we are delegating all those functionalities that they are already in Amazon, since data acquisition till knowledge generation using AI. Everything is covered by single components on Amazon. Well, we delegate the main structures on Amazon, and we put all the logic on top, creating these GxP rules on linking all those components and creating our own source code that is continuously qualified. So this is the future, and this is the reality nowadays. At the same time, the process validation guidance was published in 2011. Now, 10 years afterwards, we have the tools, we have the technology, and we have the science to be aligned with this guidance. And well, this is why Aizon is believing in AWS. This is because, AWS is offering services and components so powerful with a low cost, and they are providing this kind of scalability in our platform. Also because Aizon knowledge and Aizon added value is in pharma. So although we have a technological team in the company, we want to be a scientist and a pharma company. We are not a technology company, and for the reason we delegate this technology requirements in Amazon. So that is helping to the Aizon, because we can save a lot of money and we can invest more resources in science, pharma, and regulatory than just technology. So the scalability, the lower price, and the capacity that we have in order to grow up doing services and adding value to our customers is thanks to the acceleration that AWS is providing, thanks to this serverless architecture that we are nowadays using in the platform. So I hope that makes a little vision about how we are doing in Aizon, which kind of capabilities we are delivering to the market, and which kind of solutions are already embraced by pharma companies. And this is why Aizon and AWS are going together in this life science industry. I hope that this session has been helpful, and I'm open for questions in the future. Thank you so much, and join to the community and learn more with Aizon and AWS. Thank you.